Welcome back. Welcome back to the lab. Apologies for no video last week. Some things just didn't work out, didn't line up how I had planned, and we missed out on a pretty cool opportunity to do some stuff and things. I'm not going to dwell on it too much. It sucked, but that's the way things go. So this weekend, however, starting basically tomorrow, I'll get on to getting this beastie here onto the trailer, get all ready. Final round of NZ Superlap series. It's basically round 2. There was supposed to be 3 rounds. First round got canned because of reasons. Second round, you've seen the videos for that. We went out and did 1 session pretty successfully. No real issues at all. It was good. Second session, all the gremlins came out to play, and that was the end of that. That was the end of our weekend. Now, I could easily have fixed the car and returned for the Sunday. I didn't mention it online because it's going to start raining. How ironic, because it's really none of anybody's business. But we had a very sick dog at home. We also had my mother-in-law was in hospital with a broken hip and wasn't getting a lot of sleep, and there was some big detours on the road. It just made the journey a bit of a pain in the ass. So returning for the second day wasn't looking that inviting for me anyway, and then the car was all sort of tantrum, didn't really want to be there. So I kind of just went, "No, you're right, we'll flag that." One of the big ones, and some people know about it, haven't talked about it a lot. The big massive crash that I had a few years ago, my mother-in-law had a heart attack, went into hospital the day before that big crash. And so that is one of the things that is on my list of just watch out for that massive jinx. And so she put herself in, she fell over, broke her hip, and ended up in hospital about 3 days maybe before the round of Superlap down in Taupo. So there was a whole lot of, I'm not, no, this is not good. This is not good. So she's not in hospital right now. Let's hope she doesn't go in hospital tomorrow. Weather for tomorrow, I'm just swapping my arm because this one's getting a bit sore. Weather for tomorrow is absolute mud. It's going to be, there's some severe weather warnings and all sorts of things going on. And then Saturday and Sunday are supposed to be good. So we will focus on the good. Lighting will be a bit shonky because it is past filming o'clock. That's accurate. That's going good now. I fixed that. Maybe, hopefully, we've fixed this. Now, these are the spark plugs I was running. Yeah, there you go. That's them there. Is that focused? I can't see. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, those. I was running those. And they had there were some issues. The plug gap wasn't all that ideal on them, perhaps. So we've put a brand new set of those in with a tighter plug gap. Even though we've been recommended to run these ones here, which are a much more expensive racing spark plug. Now, the reason why I put the other ones back in is we haven't tested the car with those racing spark plugs in. We don't know what it'll do. Should be right, should go better, but we do not know that for certain. It may have some sort of rogue side effect that we don't know about. So I know that the car definitely worked with those other plugs, the cheaper plugs in there. They're both Denzos. It definitely worked, but for a relatively short period of time, probably more because of the plug gap that I was running was just a bit big for what we were doing. It's not an ignition problem. There's heaps and heaps of spark there. In fact, the spark was basically blowing out the side of the spark plug instead of sparking down the cylinder. So we don't get a lot of chances. We don't get a lot of laps at Superlap. Basically 3 10-minute sessions, and you can't go out and come back in, go out again. And you're certainly not going to change spark plugs in 10 minutes and go out and have another crack. So you've got to get it right. So for the first session, that's better. and if the light's there. For the first session, we'll put those IKH 27s in there and run those, and we should be all right. I've been very brave saying that in front of that thing there. I have drained all the fuel out of it and put fresh fuel in that I mixed up today. Brand new fresh fuel from, it's my rocket fuel that I make up, from MPD, plus some ethanol mixed up, done. So it's got a full tank, and I've got 20 litres good to go, and my fuel order has not arrived, my ethanol, so we might run out of fuel. It depends if we get it tomorrow or not. That could be the next swear word hiccup that we run into, and that's ethanol is a nuisance in New Zealand. So if that happens, there's another 20 litres that was in the tank that I suspected might have been bad fuel. If we've got no fuel at all, might as well give it a go and see what happens. It could be bad and it could break it, but it'd be the end of the season, so as long as it doesn't catch on fire or something silly like that. Right, let's have a look at a couple of things other than the spark plugs that I've done. I hate relays in this car. I despise them. They are troublesome PITAs. But our new alternator that we got was backfeeding through the sense wire. It was poking 1.6 volts out of the alternator back into anything that could ground. And the ignition wire that's run off the switch there, which turns the PDMs on and turns the ECU on, that had enough of a current flow in it to wherever it goes, to ground or whatever, to tell the ECUs to turn on, that the alternator was backfeeding through that and slowly draining the battery. The car would still turn off exactly as it's supposed to do and then kill the electrical system and all that sort of carry on, but it was just draining through. So I tried a diode. I put a diode on there and thought that'll fix it. And it did, except there must have been some sort of internal resistance in the diode going this way, and it bumped the voltage up to 15.1 volts, which is probably okay, but I was just a little bit wary of introducing another problem. I might talk to a couple of auto sparkies and talk to a couple of experts and see what they reckon, but most of everything in here, all the link stuff will be fine, the ignition coils and all that will be fine. My concern was, we'll go to the back here, these Nissan crank angle sensors, aka this one here, and there's another, however many on the engine, 4 of them on the engine I believe. They are problematic, and sticking 15 volts into them might be the end of it. And might be a couple other things like these oil system things, solenoids may pack a spares. I don't know. Most other things will be alright. Now, talking about alternator and stuff, the alternator warning light on this car is integrated into the dash, and it's a tiny little wee itty bitty. Let's turn this on. Oh, it's not plugged in. Wrong switch actually, Glenn. There you go. That. I mean, that looks really big on the camera, but when you're way back here and you're driving a million miles an hour, it's hard to see, right? So I put some new lights on. Look at those. You're not going to miss those. So those lights on the top there, the LEDs, let's turn that off. They're up there because I'm not going to pay the license fee to upgrade this to have these lights working on other things. It's too expensive. Way. So, not going to say what I was going to say. So I've bypassed the whole dash thing and done that as a GP output from the Voodoo, and that's got a virtual output inside it and blah 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 stuff and things. If the coolant pressure is too low, those lights go. If the coolant pressure is too high, those lights go. If the transfer box gets too hot, those lights go. If the voltage drops below 12.5 volts, those lights go. So If the oil pressure goes too low, these lights go. If the water temperature gets too hot, these lights go. If some other things. You get the general idea? We've got lots of warning lights going on now, so that's pretty good, I think. So yeah, that is about the state of things prior to hitting the racetrack. I'm assuming it'll be about 9:30, maybe 10 o'clock, because we're probably going to have fog. We normally get fog at this time of the year with the weather patterns around. Yeah, maybe not. Might blow it away, but could be wet. Will be cold. Could be foggy. So sometime early Saturday morning, hopefully, we'll go out on the track. We're going to find out the hard way, or the easy way. We're going to find out whether this thing's fixed or not. All right. Thanks for watching. Cheers, bye.